IndigoMoon Aussies, the precious metals litter. Today they're 8 weeks old. Today is Tuesday, gosh, what month? March 19th, I believe. That's Mercury and Goldie right there. And they were doing the spin thing. That's Shimmer. She likes to hide under the ladder. There's Mercury again. My son is home from spring break. That's Nickel. That's just coming past us. There goes Goldie under the ladder. Nickel's our little sweetheart. She's the sweetheart of the group. And I've had a lot of people asking me about temperaments. Steele is now Sawyer. He's going to be going to Nevada to join Sandra and her family. Let's see. They're all back over here. Billy, go, while I'm recording, go walk over there so they'll follow you, please. My son just had 6 teeth removed yesterday, so.
I thought it was 8.
8.
Come on.
Call them. Say puppy, puppy, puppies. We'll see the actions all going on behind us. That's Shimmer that ran up. That's Sawyer that just jumped. Whoa. Sawyer was Steele. He's now Sawyer. He just jumped over the castle. That's Platinum there with the white on the non-show side. Sawyer, easy. Don't let him bite. Tell him, no bite, no bite.
No.
So temperament-wise, Mercury is the alpha male. Now, when I say alpha male, what I mean is, let's say, for example, he has a bully stick. He will growl and he will not, woo, running puppies. He will not allow anyone to take it from them. So there's a difference between an alpha puppy. I'm going to come over here. They'll probably follow me so we can see. There's a difference between what I consider a true alpha, which they're balanced, but they assert themselves when necessary, but they don't, there's Mercury in the corner, but they don't just look for trouble. Of the females, Goldie is the alpha female. And let me give you some examples. We put up a little, like a car mat for the doggy door, and Goldie was one of the first. She more or less led the pack out. She's very outgoing, and she'll give a signal to them, and it's just knowing the puppies and being able to watch them. That's, my son is holding Goldie right now. I would put her as the alpha female. She will tolerate some rough play, and she might retreat, but she'll always come back. Nickel, like I said, I don't know what she's trying to do with the car there, her and Mercury. Now, let's talk about Platinum. Platinum, if you don't really know what you're looking for, Platinum can appear to be the dominant female. But actually, Platinum, I should rephrase that. She could appear to be the alpha female. She's not, but she is a dominant female. And she does try to instigate, that's Goldie crying to be held. She does try to instigate trouble, and she's gone after Shimmer. Shimmer is the red tri that I'm keeping, and they've had some pretty good battles. So there's a difference between what we see dominant, like with, for example, with Platinum, not with humans. She's not dominant with us at all whatsoever. But she's more, she likes to aggravate. The other puppies don't really follow her lead. They don't, like, listen to her, if you will. Whereas with Mercury, hey, beautiful boy, hey, big boy, he knows his name. He is such a big, beautiful boy. You are, I know, and you love your mama. You love your mama. You do. He's the same way. When you have a pack, generally you will find the female ends up being the leader if there's male and female. The male will often be the territorial leader, so they'll run the boundaries of whatever that is. That's a good shot of several of them. We have Sawyer, Goldie, Nickel, and Platinum. That's Platinum that I'm looking at straight on. Nickel, Mommy's over here. Goldie. Oh, what'd you step in, Goldie? So, I spend so much time watching them that I have the advantage. That's Sawyer, and he is just so, so gorgeous. Nickel, you don't have to cry. And Nickel's just our sweetheart. She loves to be held. At this age, most of them, you know, they want to be held. They love us. Excuse me. But they won't sit still for very long. But Nickel's not like that. And actually, Sawyer is he's pretty mellow guy. He's pretty easygoing. He was a lot more reserved in the beginning. He's still more reserved than Mercury, but I would not call him a shy or reserved puppy at all. He kind of does his own thing, and Mercury, again, will kind of lead the way sometimes, but all in all, I would say Goldie's one of the first ones. Like, I take an empty paper towel roll and make strange noises, and you know, at first they're all like, oh gosh, what's that? That's Goldie crying. I know, Goldie, you're a spoiled brat. They're spoiled brats, I will tell you. That's Shimmer sleeping right there. And Shimmer's just kind of somewhere in the middle. She's got a really good temperament for showing because she's open, she's fairly easy to manage. She's not really excessively dominant towards her siblings. She's respectful, and also what I do is I have a couple of older ones aside from their mother that I put the puppies with, and I test how they react. And one thing that you want to see actually in a good strong alpha, which I feel in this litter is Mercury and Goldie, is you want to see them be respectful of when they take note of, okay, for example, Lucky, he's our old fixed male. His lines are not mixed with our breeding lines, but he is a wonderful dog, and we love him dearly. And when he comes in with the puppies, he teaches them respect and manners. So if they start to bite at his face, he reprimands them. And if you watch the other puppies, you can see which ones have that good balance and that ability to lead because they respect Lucky. So, for example, Goldie and Mercury both retreated. They didn't leave him, but they retreated and stopped what they're doing. They still were engaging with him, but they were doing it respectfully. That passes on to them, and then that's how they lead a pack. Whereas, for example, Platinum needs to be taught manners a little bit better. She's a sweetheart with humans. She's never dominant, never growling or anything like that with us. But she was one that just pestered him and pestered him and pestered him. And some people will watch the video and say, well, isn't Platinum the alpha? No. You want your alpha to have good balance, good boundaries, and to respect, you know, if another puppy yelps and they've bitten too hard, you want them to back off. You also watch who leads the way. Now they're walking with us. Who's the first one to walk through the gate? Or, you know, sometimes we'll set chairs up in front of where they're going. And this is all temperament testing to gauge their reaction. Who's afraid of the chair? Who goes around the chair? Who looks at the chair and is like, okay, this is not a big deal. So that helps us to find the best homes and the best fit. And, you know, Goldie has always been very sure of herself, very sure of her world, and I think a lot of that, too, goes... Excuse me. I'm overcoming a cold, probably from being out here, because we've had some brisk weather. Today it's nice, but we're getting rain, so fingers crossed we can let them back out here. They love being out here in Playland, even though they have a big outside dog run, and they come in the house with us all the time, too. So those are things that we look for, their reaction to something new. And Goldie's always had a real good, like if I was going to liken that to a human, you know, a good self-image. You know, she was not like, Platinum is kind of what I'd call a brat. You know, she's the kind that if you tell her no, why can't I have it? I want it, I'm doing it anyways. Whereas Goldie is like, okay, I can't have that, okay. And she she's really funny because if somebody, let's see what's going on. Now that's Nickel. Nickel is just not a fighter. Nickel she's just our sweetheart. She really is. She's the sweetheart of the group. And if somebody gets Goldie, and usually it's Platinum, Goldie will retreat and she will sit back. I've seen her sit under the slide here where Shimmer was laying. It's not Shimmer, it doesn't look like anymore. Looks like it might be Sawyer under there, or I'm not really sure. All I see is a foot. So that's a little bit about the different temperaments of the puppies. So Goldie will sometimes retreat and then, oh, that was Platinum. Okay, yeah, she heard her name. They all know their names, so if I say them, they come. And she'll wait, and I have seen her literally under this little cove here where the slide is, watch, and it's been Platinum, and watch for her opportunity, and boy, does she get her back. So that's my philosophy on looking at puppies and ascertaining the difference between what we consider an alpha, what we consider dominant behavior, what we consider bratty behavior. I consider Platinum to be a little bit on the bratty side. She likes to aggravate the other puppies. That's Shimmer sleeping. Oh, my little Shimmer. Shimmer, are you tired, sweetheart? Are you tired? That's Sawyer. He's going to town. Sawyers are really easygoing. I really love Sawyer's temperament. Easygoing, outgoing, social, real balanced. I wouldn't consider him an alpha. And he's going into a home with an older Aussie, so that should work out really well because he doesn't challenge authority, whereas Mercury Mercury will be a good alpha leader because he knows not to challenge an older dog, but when it comes to the siblings, like they had bully sticks, and I deliberately gave them only 4. And again, I do this to gauge their reaction. Do they get mad? Do they get upset? You know, how fast do they rebound? Who ends up with the bully sticks? And sometimes they're just puppies playing and they're taking turns. Part of their play is, you know, one is submissive, one is dominant. That's Nickel, and that's a beautiful shot of Goldie. She's a really beautiful girl. So I've had a lot of inquiries. Now that they're 8 weeks, and I've said this before, I've mentioned this, my husband isn't here, so he can't tell me I'm talking too much. But the puppies were born a week early, so although they're fairly well caught up, I can still see small little signs that tell me they're a little bit young. I generally don't let my puppies go generally at 8 weeks anyways, and especially with this litter, other than the sire owner has taken Copper, but that's a little bit different story. She's got a litter on the ground, so she's got puppies that are just a week apart. So puppies will play, and they'll take turns being dominant and, you know, dominating each other, and that's pretty normal, but there's just subtle differences. And so it's interesting, like with the bully sticks, when you give them a limited amount of bully sticks, and then you watch to see who ends up with them and what their reaction is, and they'll play for a while. But with Mercury and Goldie, once they got a hold of them, and Mercury was the first one, once he got, now that's Sawyer over there with Nickel, I believe. That's Platinum by the yellow thing. Shimmer's crashed. Big boy, big boy. Come and see me, big boy. Big boy is Mercury. He still has a pretty distinct lead on these puppies. So I've said before that size is hard to judge based on puppy size. More so, the small puppy of the litter does not usually turn out to be a small adult. But with Mercury, if you just look at the size of his head, the size of his paws, and the balance, there they go. That's Nickel, and that's Sawyer, and then that's Mercury. You can see the difference in size, and look at that structure on Mercury. Beautiful top line. Beautiful. Very nice. And look at that face on Sawyer. Beautiful markings. Those two boys are the are really the flashiest, and Mercury has the most white. He has the most white. And Goldie is a very stocky, to me I call her a tomboy. And I chose Shimmer under here because she has a very ultra feminine look about her, and that's what's preferred in the show ring. And so, of course, if we're show enthusiasts, when we're showing, that we have to keep that in mind. We have to keep true to our own self and our own being true to the standard, but we also have to keep in mind what the judges like. And in females, the judges like not feminine, being slight of bone. The next door neighbor dogs, they're Aussies too, by the way. Their dad just got home for lunch, so they just got let out. So my big dogs are having a fit. So anyways, that's a little information. And if anybody has any more questions, I evaluate my puppies pretty much constantly. At this age, there's a lot of specific things that I look for. Let me tell these guys to be quiet. Hey, quiet! And when we're holding them, we use a sander to sand their nails. At this age, they're basically not cooperative. None of them are. And we don't expect them to. But what we look for are things like, if I'm we call it the Dremel. If I'm dremeling their nails and then I put my face to their face, do they bite at me or do they kiss me? And they all are just very, very good at submitting to humans. In fact, I feel this litter has a little bit more in terms of being bonded to the humans as opposed to each other than the last two litters that I've had. There's just something different. They cry a little bit more when they're lonely. And I mean, it's been like 2 hours maybe since I've been out with them or they've been in the house with me. But if they hear my voice or they see me come out or I'm cleaning their pen, they definitely seek humans. So all these puppies are going to definitely need homes where they get a lot of good human companionship. That's Shimmer. And as you can see, if we make a comparison to the two red girls, the other thing is in the show ring, they like to see a little bit more white. Now we do have guidelines that can't have too much white or that's considered a fault. But in the show ring, I like a lot of red, but in the show ring they like to see a little bit more white. So that was the other thing. Shimmer had more white. She has a very distinct feminine head. She doesn't have quite the bone. Goldie's a very cobby bitch, and in that respect she probably would do very well in the show ring because what I'm seeing now is they like to see really good bone on their bitches. And Goldie definitely is show quality, no doubt about it. She does not have any faults. She doesn't have quite as much white. She's about the same color as Shimmer. And in fact, all three of the reds were the color that we want to see, that rich, it's like a mahogany color, not faded, not tan. And their copper points are very visible now. So anyways, a little information. If you have more questions, please feel free to email or call me, and I'll do my best to answer. But that's the temperament analysis that I'm getting right now on the puppies from what I've seen. Now that's Mercury. That's no, Mercury. Now, I didn't see what happened before, but chances are Mercury pestered him and he'd had enough. So I'm going to shut this off and do a little disciplining. And Platinum now has submitted, and I think Goldie's joined in the club. Like I said, those are my two alphas right there, is Goldie and Mercury. IndigoMoon Aussies, the Precious Metals litter, 8 weeks today. Thanks for watching.